Hey, how's it going, guys? Domino Paris 21 here, and back again with yet another deck profile for you all. So of course, as you see here, what I have to present to you guys is my Transcendence Dragon Dragonic Nouvelle Vaj deck, or Nouvelle for short. So yeah, I've been doing a great deal of playtesting with this deck to just really make sure that all my ratios in the deck and different card choices in the deck were really where I wanted it to be. And also even took this to a few of my locals just recently and was able to get a lot of success with this deck. Overall, I'll tell you that Nouvelle itself, easily one of the best, if not the best cards in the game right now, just for all of its very, very powerful built-in abilities that it has, and backed by some nice support for Kagero coming from the extra booster. I mean, this deck can easily make a run for the best deck in Vanguard today. So it's overall very powerful, very consistent, and I'm just really, really happy with the success I've been seeing with this deck so far. So, well, as a longtime Kagero player, I've been very excited for this card as well. So, yep, here it is in all its glory. So, yeah, without further ado, let's actually get started. So, first off, for starters, of course, you have your Lizard Soldier Conroe, easily one of the best starters in the game, as I always say with all my Kagero videos, and especially now with a few key grade 1s that got released with Nouvelle with the Kagero extra booster. Conroe actually plays a much bigger role in the deck, and it really was he's really what contributes to making this deck super consistent, which I'll show you in a little bit once I get to my grade 1 lineup. But Conroe is always good, just easy tutor for any grade 1 in your deck. Just to kind of get this out of the way, because I'm sure a lot of you guys are probably going to mention this in the comments. But when it comes to restriction lists or ban lists for English, I know that Conroe is restricted in Japan, but English he's not, I guess, at the moment, as people like to talk about a lot. Overall, if Conroe does get restricted as a starter in English, it won't hinder the deck to the point that it will be unplayable, or it will no longer be competitive. The deck will still be very competitive and still one of the best decks. But Conroe really does help a lot with the consistency of the deck, but you can easily just run Red Pulse Draco Kid and still be okay. But I mean, definitely Conroe plays such a key role, but even if you ban Conroe as a starter, it really won't hinder the deck as much as people may anticipate. So, but yeah, Conroe, definitely a must, and I'd say if you're gonna play Conroe, please get the double R version. It just, it's an OG, so definitely gotta run that. So next up for, well, grade 4s, of course you have your 4 Nouvelle. So like I said, Nouvelle, easily one of the most powerful cards of the game, a lot of great built-in abilities. So starting off with its Limit Break, it's a Limit Break 4, Counter Blast 3, Soul Blast 3, and Persona Blast, so discard a copy for self. And you get to retire all your opponent's rear guards, or as I like to call it, board wiping. So it's a very powerful ability, and it can definitely be a very scary ability, especially when you're up against decks that rely on a really good offensive field presence like Aquaforce and Novas, because this Limit Break ability is a nightmare to them almost. But if you actually talk to me about it, and along with some other fellow Kagero players that I know, will all tell you that you don't really play this deck for this particular Limit Break. Now, it's very powerful, but you don't necessarily go for the Limit Break a lot of the times. I usually found myself not even wanting to use the Persona Blast just because I felt like it was worth it just to get a nice 12k beater on the field, because she is a 12k beater in your rear guard. Now, what makes this card really amazing and super broken, as I guess you can say, is her other built-in skills that is not Limit Break. So that's kind of like the big thing about him. So starts off with the first one of during your turn, all your opponent's triggers that they hit in the damage zone during damage checks are nullified. So, no 6 damage heals, no damage check draw triggers, nothing. And your opponent does not even get the power of the trigger effects to make defending easier. So whatever numbers you have on your board, your opponent literally has to block it no matter what, and there's really no way around it in terms of damage striking triggers to help them. So that's one reason why this card is nuts. And the main reason, which I think is really what takes the cake for this card, is its Silent Tom ability. And yes, Silent Tom. So while it's in Vanguard Circle, when it attacks, your opponent cannot guard this unit with grade 0s. So it's pretty nuts. So it's pretty much the fact of, you know, how many perfect guards does your opponent have, and how long can they last until they can either draw into more perfect guards, or hopefully they stocked up on other grade 1s or highers in their hand. But the minute your opponent runs out of perfect guards, I mean, they're going to be dropping a lot of cards from their hand, or potentially lose the game depending on, you know, where they're at in damage. So overall, this card is very powerful. It's very nuts, and to be very honest, even when I was playing in some of my local tournaments, it almost felt kind of unfair just having this card, just because it was just so overpowering a lot of the time. So a very, very powerful card, of course. So I think we all know that by now, though. And then next up for grade 3s, of course, you have your 3 Dauntless Drive Dragon and the 1 Cruel Dragon. So Dauntless Drive, honestly, I say is a must for this deck, just because Dauntless Drive is just such a powerful combination with Nouvelle. You know, obviously, you know, Dauntless Drive, if you guys don't know what the Break Ride does, you ride a Kagero on top of him, and the Vanguard gets +10, and at the end of battle that your Vanguard attacks your opponent's Vanguard, you discard 3 Kagero units and then stand your Vanguard. So, and you know, giving Nouvelle a +10k boost for a whole turn and then a double attack at your opponent's Vanguard is just so huge. And I can honestly tell you that I single-handedly won so many games just by going Nouvelle over Dauntless so many times. And especially with how this deck is designed, you're almost guaranteed to get the Dauntless pretty much every game. Now, I originally was running the 4 Dauntless and 4 Nouvelle, kind of like more of a standardized build, but I know Cruel Dragon is definitely another card that gets played a lot in Nouvelle, and I decided to actually just play one of it. I know I tested out my good buddy Juan Mango's deck where he ran 4 Cruels and 4 Nouvelles, so he was really more focused on Cruel. But my issue with Cruel Dragon is, although the Superior Ride is definitely very beneficial, if you don't really open the right hand necessarily, or I don't know, there's a lot of situations where, you know, he can be a little inconsistent and you're not really able to get the Superior Ride off as often as you think. So a lot of times, even though I may open with him, there are a few times where I just wasn't able to get the Superior Ride off, so I had to like normal ride him, which, you know, it's not the end of the world and it's not a huge deal, but you're kind of losing the whole purpose of playing the Cruel Dragon if you're not able to Superior Ride it, in my opinion, which is why I'm just playing the 3 Dauntless. Because if I can't really Superior Ride Cruel Dragon, I'd rather just normal ride the Dauntless and then just, you know, finish my opponent off late game with Nouvelle, just for how powerful that combo is. So I think the 3 Dauntless and 1 Cruel Dragon, I found this ratio to be really perfect for me, so not much more to it than that. Then next up for grade 2s, of course you have one of the new Kagero support cards for Nouvelle, Novel Electric. So yeah, when it's placed on Vanguard or Rearguard Circle, you counterblast 1 and you reveal 1 copy of Nouvelle Vage from your hand, and you get to retire 1 of your opponent's Rearguard. So essentially, as long as you have a copy of Nouvelle Vage in hand, he pretty much becomes a Berserk Dragon at half the cost. And what's nice is he can snipe out like anything, so if you want to snipe out a grade 3, by all means go ahead. This card is just another way to help control the board, make some more use out of your grade 4 before you actually ride into it. And it's just a really good, really strong card. So I definitely say 3 to 4 is a definite must, just for how cheap the cost is just to get a free retire. So nice, amazing card here. And then of course you have 4 Bellicosity Dragon. This card is just really amazing in this deck. It's kind of funny because in most of the rounds in the tournaments I've been playing this deck in, I've just been opening Bellicosity turn 2 as my Vanguard, and then I have a Novel Electric, and then essentially, you know, you could just ride Bellicosity, you get Novel Electric off, and then essentially, I mean, with Bellicosity pretty much almost guaranteed to hit as your Vanguard, you just get a free unflip. So pretty much it's like I just got a free kill for nothing. So that combination turn 2 is definitely very powerful to get off. It's just so amazing, and Bellicosity just being a damage unflipper for Cog in this deck can definitely cause a lot of pressure for your opponent. It either baits out you know, full column attacks, which he was able to do in in the tourneys I played in, and it just forces out extra shield from your hand, from your opponent's hand, that is, excuse me. So yeah, Bellicosity is just so amazing in this deck at 4, and then I run 4 Berserk Dragons. So or excuse me, 3 Berserk Dragon. So yeah, Berserk Dragon, obviously, we all know what it does. So it's just another way to help make use of your Counter Blast and just help control the board. So really the combination of the Berserk Dragons and Nova Electrics and Bellows, with all these guys, it creates such an amazing mid-game for this deck. So a lot of times, especially within the first, let's say, 2 to 3 turns, in all the games I've been testing this deck, I usually, of course, always open these guys in combination. Either I open a Bellicosity or Berserk or Nova Electric. But if you're able to open these and help control the game state in your favor within the first 3 turns, you're essentially just, I mean, you're really just setting yourself up to win in the long run, just because it's really very, very impactful to be able to open these cards effectively early in the game, and can really be devastating for a lot of decks, like I said, especially those like Aquaforce and Novas that rely on a good offensive field or just having a good offensive presence. So just being able to control your opponent's field, forcing them to call more units from their hand, and then just kind of dropping the Nouvelle late game is just so powerful. It's just such a powerful setup for this deck, and that's really what this deck thrives on. So I really like the Nova Electric in the deck just to make retiring a little bit more efficient for you. Alright, now moving on to grade 1s. Of course, we have our 4 Nouvelle Roman Dragon, easily one of the most important cards in the deck. So what he does is, when you place him on Vanguard or Rearguard Circle, you shuffle 1 copy of Nouvelle Vage from your hand into the deck, and you can search your deck for any grade 3 Kagero. So, of course, what makes him very important is the fact is that it's what helps you to guarantee your grade 3. Because obviously, Nouvelle Vage, for being a grade 4, you have to get your grade 3, so it just helps you guarantee that so you don't get grade locked. And also at the same time, what's nice is the fact is I am running Dauntless and Cruel Dragon in the deck at the same time. It just gives me a few different options to go about. Now, most of the time I do find myself just getting the Dauntless, just because, like I said, the break ride combination of Dauntless and Nouvelle for that +10 double twin drive style Tom effect is just way too good, and it will single-handedly win you a lot of games. But what's nice is that by running the 1 Cruel Dragon, if I find the situation to be worth it, I'll actually tutor into the Cruel Dragon and just go for the Superior Ride. So there are actually a few games where I'll open 2 Nouvelle Vage, so then I'll just use the ability, shuffle 1 back, get the Cruel Dragon, Superior Ride, and then the next following turn I'll just normal ride a Nouvelle Vage a turn earlier than expected. So it's definitely a good play to be able to do that. So yeah, and a main reason why I do like to run 4 in the deck is the simple fact is that I just want to be able to open this card without having to use my Conroe search, because like I said, Conroe allows you to tutor to any of your grade 1, so I don't want to have to waste that ability if I can easily run 4 of these cards in the deck and just draw into it instead, so I can save my Conroe search. So simple as that, and it's a 7k booster, so really not much other reason to not run them at 4. Then next up, you have your 3 Dragon Monk Gojo. So just a great classic card in Kagero, and really love him a lot in this deck. Now, Gojo is just amazing just to open with, just to help fix any bad hands you may have, or I do give him a lot of credit for helping me in a few games in my tournaments I played in, just to help prevent me from getting grade locked, help me fish for any key cards and such. I did like him a lot better than Kersey. I did test out both, and I like Gojo a lot better because, like I said, it's found him more consistently reliable. Just because I can use him turn 1 if I really need to, without having to rely on my opponent having grade 2s on his field. And also, a lot of times what happens is, if you're sitting on your Dauntless Drive, Dragon, your opponent will be very wary on giving you Limit Break a little too early in a lot of situations, so they usually would just go after your rear guards a lot of times. So what happens is, if my opponent keeps being very aggressive towards my front row, and I don't really have an ideal unit to make a good column to put in front of the Gojo that was boosting one of my rear guards, I can still use Gojo's skill and make some use of him, so he won't necessarily be a dead card in the field. So that's another main reason why I like Gojo a lot in this deck. So simple as that. Then next, of course, you have your 4 Dragon Dancer Maria. Easily the best looking Kagero Perfect Guard. Not much more to say about that. The Dragon Dancer OP. Then next up you have your 2 Dragon Knight Ashgar. I'd say easily he is the best special booster, just because it's like non-conditional. As long as he boosts a Nouvelle Vage, he gains +3. So he's a 7k base, which is already a good base for a booster that as is. And I mean, he boosts for 10k for free as long as he's boosting Nouvelle. So it just allows it so that Nouvelle can still hit a key number, especially against cross rides all the time. So that magic number 23, just a really good center column to hit for. So you just need 2 of him. And what's nice is that you can create a 22k column with Nouvelle in the rear guard as well. So you can definitely make some pretty good powerful columns with him. And then I am running the 1 Kimnara in the deck. I don't really like Kimnara too much, but Kimnara just allows me for that option if I'm able to superior ride Cruel Dragon. I can easily tutor into this card with Conroe to try and get the superior ride off if I need to. So that's really all Kimnara is here for. Other than that, if I wasn't rolling Cruel Dragon in the deck, I would not even be playing this card. But that's the main reason why it's in the deck. And then for triggers, of course, we have our 7 crit of different varieties, so your opponent has a harder time guessing your ratios. 5 draw, definitely got to run the 4 Gatling Claws if you are running Cruel Dragon in the deck, just to, you know, kill starters. Or it's just even nice just to run these in general, just, you know, being able to kill annoying starters is always good. So 7 crit, 5 draw, 4 heal. So the fact is you are running Dauntless Drive. Having that extra draw trigger does help with your hand size. Obviously, because of the discarding cost for Dauntless. There's not much more to it than that. I mean, 7-5 has always been a very consistent lineup for me in a lot of my decks, so simple as that. So yeah, there you have it, guys. That is my deck profile for Nouvelle. I hope you all enjoyed that. As always, feel free to leave a comment down below with any questions and such right down below for me. And as always, don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and thank you guys again for watching, and please give a thumbs up to this video. That's always appreciated. But yeah, once again, guys, thank you guys again for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Later.